This is a hot topic that a lot of students and families and teachers and guidance counselors, they're going to ask this question. And I think in the world we live in, we're going to constantly get confused by it, right? That's not a bad thing. There's just so much information. I'll quickly start with try not to focus on macro level data of what numbers mean, right? Oh, I see at this school, students who submitted scores got in at a higher rate, or students who didn't submit scores didn't get in as high. What you're not seeing is the other side of that, right? The students who submitted scores might have also had a really compelling other side of their profile, and they did really well in the SAT or ACT and also did well in the classroom. So it's hard when we look at big sets of information. For clarity, hopefully, when a school says test optional, that means they're test optional. We're not comparing students who took the test to students who didn't take the test, but I'll be clear, we're not comparing a student to another student ever, right? It's like we're not going to say, well, this student played 3 years of basketball and this student didn't. We'll take the 3 years of basketball. There's just no scenario where students are compared to each other in that respect. With that said, we only look at test scores when test scores are in front of us. That's how test optional works at a place like Binghamton and many schools. There are some schools that kind of give you the benefit of the doubt, right? Submit them and we'll use them if we think it's going to help. You can ask an admissions office that and they'll tell you kind of their strategy, but most test optional schools say you either submit them or you don't. And if it's there, great. That's one thing we'll look at. If it's not there, well, there's nothing to look at. We're just going to look at everything else there. So it's not a wondering, well, they probably didn't do well in the test because they didn't submit it. We don't have the time for that in admissions. But that's where I want you to think bigger picture about taking the exams, SAT or ACT, seeing how you do, maybe taking it again, because most schools will super score. So if you did better in one section in one time on an SAT and then you did better in the other section, well, we'll put them together to give you a higher score.